So, I've been keeping my head down these first few months of 2021 because surprisingly, after staying up many nights trying to secure a PS5 and then driving 80 miles to my hometown to pick up the console, I didn't really want to do anything but play games. I've been playing a lot of Demon Souls, I finished the PS5 tech demo Astro's Playroom, and I finished Bugsnax. Way back in June, I streamed the PlayStation event, and when I was introduced to Bugsnax, I said to my chat, this is one of those red herring games, where it looks cute and lighthearted, but it probably will end up being a horror or have dark themes, like Doki Doki Literature Club. I was expecting to see a mature rating at the end of the trailer to cement that prediction, and when I saw the ESRB rating was E10, I was a little disappointed, but honestly, the game was still on my radar. I told my viewers that I would probably only play it once, and now here we are, 7 months later, and I've played it twice. Bugsnax is a game that I liked way more than I expected to, but that doesn't separate it from its issues. Bugsnax is a good game with a lot of little problems, which could probably explain the mixed reviews it received on Metacritic across all of its platforms. Despite the issues I came across in my 2 playthroughs of the game, I still think I could recommend it to people, especially people on PS5 who are starving for new content to play on their brand new $400 to $1,200 console. It's a nice casual experience, but I have to admit that it is repetitive, and in my personal opinion, there is a correct way to play through this game. This is your spoiler warning. I have a lot to say about this game and my time with it, so if any of the footage shown so far piques your interest, then come back after you finish the game. It is on PS4 and PS5 as well as PC through the Epic Games Store. So, I played the game on PS5, so the issues I ran into might not be present on the other versions, so just keep that in mind, okay? Before we talk about anything, we have to talk about Bugsnax's presentation. Happy to see the developers taking advantage of the mega flops of the PS5 hardware to render Muppet people. The game isn't bad looking in its graphics, and the sound design is up to par as well. The movement is fluid, and the game just overall exudes a cute aesthetic. It's easy to get drawn into the pretty environments of Bugsnax, especially with the little bugs scurrying around repeating their names like Pokemon. The Pokemon Snap influence is pretty obvious, and I appreciate the fact that this game took steps to differentiate itself from its influence. To my understanding, in Pokemon Snap, you're just on rails waiting for Pokemon to spawn and then you take a picture of them. I understand the appeal for fans of this game, but I would be bored to death. I appreciate the fact that I'm able to engage with Bugsnax in many different ways, such as taking pictures, catching them in a plethora of traps, hitting them with ketchup, causing them to run each other's fades, and then I run up on them with a butterfly net. While these options are simple, I still have found myself enjoying them, and I want to see more games with minimalistic designs that don't feel like they have to keep adding gimmicks to keep things fresh. I feel like if more games polish their core feedback loop over and over and over till that motherfucker's shining, we can get some more consistent quality out of our games. Bugsnax's gameplay is fun, and even though it does get repetitive, I'm happy that this is the only criticism I can give it on the gameplay side. Well, that, and ironically the gameplay has some bugs. The game works as intended more often than it doesn't, but the times that the bugs rear their ugly head, it can suck you out of the experience. The game also suffers performance issues such as frame drops. How? Come on bruh, it's 2021 and we're still getting frame drops in our console releases? The only time I've ever been hit with these frame drops though is when I'm by one of the few soda Bugsnax and they spray me with a stream of their respective soda. Bugsnax normally run at 60 frames per second, but when this stream of Dr. Pepe hits me, the frames drop into the single digits, and I'm disappointed. Devs, these are super powerful machines. Sony, why can't my $2 billion console run Bugsnax? All that aside though, Bugsnax normally works in its gameplay, and spotting and catching these cute little bugs can lead to a fun, relaxing experience. The game isn't hard at all, and the few times the difficulty does spike, it's usually just due to the functionality of some of the traps you can use. At its core, Bugsnax is a puzzle game where you're given a bunch of puzzle pieces, and every time you come up with a problem, you can always find the answer in your puzzle pieces. While these problems can usually be solved by deploying your basic snacks trap, most of these problems still take some ingenuity. The best example of these are within the game's boss snacks. Throughout the game, you can go toe-to-toe with 4 bosses that require you to use your tools in a way that circumvents the defenses they have set up to prevent their capture. And while these interactions are a nice change in pace, they don't up the ante enough because there are no game overs in Bugsnax. No fail states, and because of this, no stakes. But that isn't the point of Bugsnax. The point is to figure out what happened to Elizabeth Megafig. Bugsnax's story is its weakest point, but only because of how it's structured. In my first playthrough, I completely ignored all of the side content, and once I finished the story, I was confused. Bugsnax's writing goes from great to terrible as the story continues, and after playing through the game a second time and being sure I did everything I was able to, keyword, was able to, I found out that this game's writing isn't bad at all. It's just horribly organized and misses out on so many opportunities. The ending is still bad, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If you are still here after the spoiler warning and you want to check out this game, please make sure you do all of the extra content. It is 100% necessary if you want to get the full picture. And honestly, if I would have made this video off my first playthrough, this video would be very different, let me tell you. If you don't do the side quests, you don't get the context to make the ending make sense, and you don't get to play through any of the 4 boss fights. While coming to this conclusion, suddenly the criticisms on Metacritic made much more sense. People said that the game was repetitive, and it is to an extent, but I am almost certain that these people probably didn't play all of the side quests, because that's where you'll find the gameplay that shakes up the formula. Yeah, you'll still be capturing Bugsnax, but as stated previously, there are bosses and extra puzzles, like catching a Scooby Banoopy or a praying Picantis. These Bugsnax are a combination of 3 or 4 little Bugsnax, so the way you deal with them originally is to get them to break apart and catch the contents separately, but in a side quest, you have to catch these bugs without breaking them apart, which requires you to approach them from an entirely new angle. If you don't like the original gameplay loop, then this extra content might not change enough for you, but it did for me, and I recommend that people who have played this game without completing the side quest to go back and replay it to 100% completion. In this game, you are a nameless journalist tasked to go to Snacktooth Island to verify whether or not Bugsnax exist. Your goal is to interview Elizabeth Megafig, an adventurer who gathered a caravan of people to follow her to Snacktooth Island, but when you get there, you realize something isn't right. As you arrive in your airship, you are immediately tackled by a giant pizza monster. Bugsnax are real. They are very real. Even though you probably should have died when your ship crashed, you wake up to the googly eyes of the Strabby. Don't you want to eat that? It scurries away and we are introduced to Filbo and prompted to save him from starving to death. Here you are introduced to the game's basic mechanics: catch Filbo a Strabby, feed it to him, get him on his feet, and follow him back to Snacksburg, where he is the appointed mayor. You find out that Lizbert is missing and the town split up to fend for themselves in this unknown territory. You come across Wambus, a stern and standoffish farmer who took it upon himself to try and grow food for the Grumbuses to eat. That's what they're called, Grumbus. Yeah. However, he can, or is it Grumpus? I think it's Grumbus. I think it's Grumpus. Whatever. However, he can't really figure out Bugsnax, so instead, he has been growing sauces in a desperate effort to deal with the town's inability to consistently catch Bugsnax. You're then introduced to Bunger, my personal favorite. Filbo is incapacitated, and even though he should probably be dead, you're introduced to the sauce mechanic. Pretty straightforward stuff. Some snacks like certain sauces, so you can use the sauce to lead the Bugsnax into your trap, and if they hide from you because you get too close, you can use the sauce to lure another Bugsnax to their hiding spot and force them out of it. You can even use the sauces to cover 2 Bungers and cause them to tackle each other, stunning them both and making for an easy catch. The sauce mechanic has many uses, but alas, is very simple. After helping Wambus, you meet Beffica, the mean girl archetype, and she provides you with a journal that will help you organize your progress throughout the story. She even gives you a quest that requires some basic sleuthing where you have to figure out what her favorite Bugsnax is and feed it to her. Now, if only she didn't draw a big fucking picture of it next to her bed.
You crazy gobbler!
This section is short, and by now the player should understand the gameplay loop. After the quest, you follow her and Filbo back to the main hub of the game. Right now, Snacksburg may not look like much. Once you get the residents back to Snackburg, they kind of start following a cute little routine. They say hi and good morning to each other. They run to the bathroom when they have to drop the load. It makes it feel real. They go to bed when it gets late. They don't just stand around like NPCs. It makes you feel like these people have lives, goals, routines. Very good stuff. After I returned Beffica and Wambus back to town, the next Grumpus on my list is Grumpus, not Grumbuses. I have 2 different things in my fucking script here. God. The next Grumpus on my list was Gramble. You find Gramble on the beach and you find out that he's the snackscatarian of the group. He believes that Bugsnax are friends, not food, so he isolates himself in an effort to protect his friends. When you arrive on the beach, you are stopped by a mysterious Grumpus who immediately starts talking your ears off about their experiments. In this conversation, they provide you with some more context to what is exactly happening to the Grumpuses when you feed them the Bugsnax. This interaction felt a bit out of place when I played it, but whatever. I mean, I'm sure this character is going to be important later, so yeah, whatever. Back to finding Gramble. As you unlock more areas to explore, you open yourself to finding more Bugsnax, and honestly, this area has some of my favorites. The Snackery, the Raspy, Tropica Bug. I really like this area, but this introduces another problem into the fray. There really aren't that many Bugsnax. This is like the 3rd area of the game, and they're already reusing concepts. The Tropica Bug is just a Shishka Bug with a different ingredients. And hell, at the end of the game, there's another bug called the Insta Bug, which is also kind of cute, and it likes your camera, because, you know, Insta Bug, and it's like Insta Bug, and it's super, whatever, you know what I mean? It's cute. It's a cute bug, okay? But this sort of thing, why? Why are we already reusing stuff? This sort of thing isn't unheard of, but I mean, this early in the game? When you find Gramble, you meet Wiggle as well, and you get to witness firsthand exactly what Gramble's issues are with the rest of the Grumpuses on Snaktooth Island. It is heavily implied that Wiggle and Gramble are romantically involved, but it is also apparent that Wiggle might be using Gramble to get to his Bugsnax. When you speak to Gramble alone, you find out he was a farmhand and kept a stock of Bugsnax in his barn, but people kept stealing from him, so he moved to the beach to prevent his stock from being eaten. He introduces you to Sprout, a new tool that's going to help you throughout the rest of the game. Sprout is a Strabby that was trained to follow a laser pointer, and you can use him to get to hard to reach spaces and catch the Bugsnax lurking in there. After getting accustomed to the changing gameplay, you are tasked with leading 2 Queebles to Gramble without trapping them, and this quest teaches you that if you cover Sprout in a Bugsnax's favorite sauce, they will probably follow him to the end of the earth. Gramble heads back to town, and then next on the list is Wiggle.
I cannot rest until I find my muse. And by muse, I mean Bugsnax.
Wiggle is my personal favorite out of all the characters. Her dialogue and voice acting is fantastic. Her questline has the Mega Maki boss fight, which is my favorite boss in the whole game, and she's a one-hit wonder, grasping desperately, hoping she can continue to be in the music business, even though all of her subsequent songs are flops. I personally can relate to this as a musician. In Wiggle's questline, she asks for you to catch her a few Bugsnax because she thinks that if she reinvents her look, it'll give her the spark she needs to overcome her writer's block. Unfortunately, she wants 2 pop ticks that are located in another region. On your way back to town, be sure to look behind you and get a glimpse of this amalgamation of Bugsnax. I don't want to talk about this just yet, but keep it in mind. You make it back to Snaxburg just in time for some beef between Wambus and Gramble. After their little kerfuffle, you go and talk to Filbo and he decides to throw a welcome back party. These party segments are great because it lets the characters interact with each other without having to push the story forward. The strong personalities clash, everyone shits on Filbo, who is just trying to do his best, and more beef between Gramble and Wambus.
You don't know a thing about love! That's why your wife left you!
Shit! After this cutscene, I found myself liking Filbo a little bit more because he really is trying his best. He even gave me a Strabby. He's the homie. Oh. Turns out I'm allergic to Bugsnax, which is good because if I was in this situation, I don't really think I would want to eat them, no matter how good they may be. After the party, you head over to Scorched Gorge, and this is where the game gets a difficulty spike. Wiggle wants 2 pop ticks before she'll come back to town, and the only way to get these pop ticks is to first trick another Bugsnax called Scorpino into hitting it with its fire blast, causing it to explode into popcorn. Unfortunately, Scorpino is a very aggressive Bugsnax and will attack anything that comes into its domain, traps and the player included. I think it's really cool using the aggressive Bugsnax in this way, but it definitely can overstay its welcome because on my first playthrough, I was stuck, maybe for about 35 minutes because I was waiting for the Bugsnax AI to work a certain way, while on my second playthrough, it worked immediately and I caught both pop ticks almost simultaneously. In Scorched Gorge, you meet Cromdo, a sleazy piece of fuck, used car salesman looking ass nigga, and this guy gives you the next tool, the lunch pad. He then proceeds to try and sell you a fucking bridge. If it were up to me, I would have left Cromdo high and dry on that fucking mountain. But we gotta get him home, so of course we help him out. After we meet Triffany. Triffany is Wambus's wife, and she has a cute accent. Triffany is one of those characters that you either appreciate or you don't. She's a wholesome lady who seems to be obsessed with death. Her nihilistic tendencies drive her to push herself to her limits when it comes to archaeology, and after speaking with her a few more times, it becomes very clear why her and Wambus didn't work. To get her to come back to town, you need to help uncover information about an ancient Grumpus civilization, and this questline really provides some backstory for this island. As irritating as this section can be, the Triffany quests weren't too difficult, and by this point in my playthrough, I was having a good time. After sending Triffany back to Snaxburg, you can initiate the next big story cutscene. In an effort to bring the town together again, Filbo gathers everyone around the campfire. During this cutscene, the spooky tension is front and center because this is another opportunity for you to see the Bugsnax monster. The cutscene continues with everyone talking about some spooky things that they have encountered while on the island. Beffica brings up the idea of a Grumpus killing other Grumpus, and I got super excited about this, especially when Triffany doesn't deny some of Beffica's evidence. Filbo awkwardly gets up and runs to the bathroom, and this is where the story starts to fall apart for me. It is very obvious here that Filbo is acting strange. Throughout the course of the game, there is just something off about Filbo, and at this point in my first playthrough, I just knew that Filbo was going to be some sicko eating Bugsnax and then eating Grumpuses. With the context I had up until this point, I just knew that Filbo was going to have a big reveal, and he was going to end up being this super cool, sociopathic, charismatic villain. And then Beffica keeps talking, and the name Floofty is brought up, and my heart sunk into my fucking foot because I realized this is so irritating because right after this, Filbo screams and you think, oh fuck, Filbo's in trouble. Then you run after him to the outhouse and you hear these grotesque gurgles and what seem to be the Bugsnax monster. And just as you're about to investigate, Filbo somehow teleports behind you and then acts like you're the weird one for assuming he was in the bathroom, even though he said he was going to the bathroom. You open up the outhouse and there's nothing there. What the fuck was this scene? The only good thing from this scene is Wiggle, but what do you expect? It's fucking Wiggle.
Regardless of what sort of monster you believe in, something is lurking out there. And it's only a matter of time before it comes for us.
Snacks, it's coming for us.
I said she's coming for us. Yeah, she's gonna get us. Oh.
In this scene, she hints at the fact that there are massive Bugsnax out there and foreshadows one of the boss fights in the game. I guess another cool thing about this scene is the introduction of Chandlo, and Chandlo is a super cool character, especially if you're into himbos. He's ripped, kinda stupid, and overall brings the vibes, if you know what I'm saying. After the Ghost Stories cutscene, a new area becomes available to you called Sugar Pine Woods. Here, you meet Ntropy, and he's a gay disaster. I really enjoy Snorpy's character and how he interacts with his love interest Chandlo, because their dynamic is something that I usually see between lesbians. Chandlo and Ntropy being in a homosexual relationship while neither of them being overly feminine is cool because it shows a different flavor of gay men, if you catch my drift. Whenever I usually see gay men in video games, they almost always come off predatory, and like Bax and Oxley from Ikenfell, Chandlo and Ntropy shine for being a positive and somewhat normal depiction of two men in love. Ntropy is a shut-in, conspiracy theorist, genius, and almost every interaction you have with him is entertaining, especially if you're an overthinker. Watching him get trapped in his own mind is hilarious because it's all absolute nonsense, and it's funnier for me because I know people in real life that truly believe that the government is out to get them. But with new characters being introduced, you know what time it is. It's back to the gameplay loop. Get new tool, catch hella snacks, let's go. After finally sending these two back to Snacksburg, you're able to go back and talk to Cromdo, give him the snacks he asked for, and then get him back to town as well. And of course, when Cromdo makes it back to town, he instantaneously starts beefing with Beffica, and now that you've reached a new Grumpus milestone, that means another cutscene. The next cutscene acknowledges the fact that there is something out there that is leaving them warnings. The final seed of the game's narratives are being planted here, and even though I'm still butthurt about the missed opportunity of Filbo being the monster, I guess this cutscene is way better than the one before it. Filbo finally comes into his own as the leader, and honestly, I'm quite proud of him. After this, 3 new areas become available to you: Boiling Bay, Frozen Peaks, and Sizzling Sands. And I'm gonna be honest here, this is where the gameplay started to lose steam for me. These areas introduced Floofty, who was the mysterious Grumpus from the beginning of the game, Eggabell, Lizbert's girlfriend and doctor to Snacksburg, and Shelda, an old lady who pretends to be a prophet. These 3 characters are okay for the most part, but they aren't as interesting as Wiggle or Beffica, which sucks, especially in Eggabell's case, because she is very important to the mystery of what happened to Lizbert. Not only are these characters lackluster, but the snacks in these areas suck too. Fuck the Banopper. Fuck them all. Completing these final 3 areas will set the stage for the game's downright horrific conclusion. It's time for the final celebration, and Filbo is extremely happy that the town is up and vibing. After getting everyone on the dance floor through getting them to tie up any loose ends they have with each other, you are able to go and speak with Filbo, and then... Now, here's another spoiler warning, because from this point forward, I will be spoiling the end of this game, and if you've been paying attention throughout the video, you might be able to expect what's going to happen next, but just in case you don't want to be spoiled, you can go to this timestamp to jump to my verdict, okay? Get out of here. I'm gonna do it. Any second now. Eggabell comes down from Frozen Peaks, and she believes that she knows where Lizbert is. She needs you and Filbo to go and help her open a door straight out of Indiana Jones. The door requires 3 people in order to open it. Once you get the door open, the 3 of you rush inside just for the earth to immediately open up and swallow you 3 whole. Welcome to the Undersnacks, and yeah, it probably can speak for itself. As you explore the disgusting piles of mashed together food and waddle through the stream of mystery liquid, you and Filbo finally come face to face with Elizabeth Megafig. Surrounded by an audience of nearly every Bugsnax in the game, and with a body crafted from an amalgamation of every boss fight in the game, Elizabeth provides us with some answers to our questions. Bugsnax are parasites. They make you want to eat them, and after you eat one, you are filled with an urge to eat more and more of them, and eventually you become Bugsnax. As scary as this sounds, it kind of fell flat because, well, the Bugsnax monsters aren't scary at all. Bugsnax are cute, so it's like, oh, you die if you eat a lot of them, and I'm like, oh, scary, I'm so scared. It sucks that this was the big reveal that the game is leading up to, and I just looked at it and... After interviewing Lizbert, Eggabell falls through the ceiling and tries to prevent Lizbert from sacrificing herself so the rest of the island can escape. Eggabell doesn't want to live without Lizbert, so she does what any sane person would do.
Get up. get up. Come on. Let's go. Get up. Hey! Ow! Oh, Agabel, stop it! No, you stop it! I didn't sleep in an igloo for months just so you could play martyr. We're getting out of here together.
I can't. My control is already slipping. If I step outside this cave, my connection to the Bugsnax will break and the island will collapse before I make it another step.
Huh. All right. Then I'll get in there with you. Move over.
Move over? It's not a car, Belle.
This game just gets dumber and dumber and dumber, and the island is falling apart, and it's up to you and Philbo to make sure everyone makes it home safely. This is where the game shifts, and it becomes a tower defense game where you have to protect the Grumpuses from Bugsnax by using the tools and traps you've acquired throughout the game in different ways. This is kind of fun, especially when you're tired of just catching Bugsnax over and over and over again. It just sucks that it's at the end of the game and there's no chapter select, so you'd have to just reload the save if you want to play this part over and over again. But yeah, this part was kind of fun. The minigames here are okay, and the difficulty spike here is just dealing with the physics of the game. But all in all, it's okay for what it is. Also, if you let the Grumpuses eat too many snacks, this happens.
I ain't gonna get rich and famous if I listen to these suckers. They're just holding me back. Now's my chance. The snacks are mine. Mine! Mine!
Oh no! Cromdo!
Damn! He ain't gonna be in Bugsnax 2. Just as you're about to escape, you get one last look at Snacktooth Island as the volcano... Just as you're about to escape, you get one last look at Snacktooth Island as the volcano erupts, and Agabel and Lizbert save you one last time. You arrive back to civilization, and then you're able to have one last conversation with the population of Snacksburg. These conversations mean nothing unless you complete everyone's quest lines, which I did, except for Cromdo's, because the game stopped giving me his quests! Anywho, after talking to everyone, you can talk to Philbo and end this nightmare. Oh, but the game isn't over yet. You gotta report your findings to your job. You let your boss know that Bugsnax is all a hoax just because you don't want more people to go there. And then you and Philbo kind of like, okay, at least everything's okay now. And then, you know what I mean, like, just please make sure the public knows what's going on. And then the fucking boss lady is like, oh yeah, of course, I'll let you know. By the way, you're fired. And I'm just like, okay, what is this? Why would you do this? Whatever. Anyway, so... while the credits roll, you get some pictures that let you know what everyone is up to once returning home, and at the end there's a picture of Lizbert and Agabel watching the sunset, so it's safe to assume that they didn't die and now it's just them on the island. I guess that's a happy ending. Once the credits stop rolling, you hear a conversation between Clumby, the main character's boss, and an unknown party. It is implied here that they knew about Bugsnax all along and they are a part of some crazy cult that worships Bugsnax. Maybe it's a setup for a potential sequel? I don't know. Bugsnax is a good game, but I felt like it could have been a great game if it would have properly paced its story and squashed all lurking bugs. As the first game to go into the Delta 2021 tier list, it will be placed comfortably in good games. So I'm off script here. If they're gonna make a sequel, there needs to be way more Bugsnax. There needs to be a better ending. The bugs gotta be completely squashed, no bugs in the game. Like, I would play a Bugsnax 2, but it needs more Bugsnax. I don't want any repeating Bugsnax unless you absolutely have to, but hopefully please no repeating Bugsnax 1. And 2, make it so you actually get something for completing the story 100%. Because when I completed the story 100%, I didn't get shit for it. All I got was just the extra, the gameplay stuff, which was fun. I enjoyed that. But come on, give me something. Give me like a special challenge or like a true ending or like an extra. Give me something. Reward me for my time spent. You know what I mean? Yeah, this video took forever. I just had to get this out. I was tired of writing and rewriting and re-editing, and God, I just had to let this one fucking go. I couldn't escape it all around me. All around me, Bugsnax. I close my eyes and just Bugsnax. Dreams. While I'm in the shower, Bugsnax. While taking a shit, Bugsnax. I have to finish Bugsnax. The video, get it done, get it done. Well, here it is. And I appreciate you for making it to the end of the video. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, please consider subscribing to the channel. I gotta go lay down. Fuck.